May I come in, sir?
Yes, come in.
Good morning, ma'am. Good morning, sirs. Thank you, sir.
So, Sravan Kumar.
Yes, sir.
Good. So, you've done your engineering and electronics?
Yes, sir. Electrical.
Electrical and electronics.
Yes, sir.
Good. This college is located in Belgaum,
Bangalore, sir.
not Belgaum.
Belgaum is the university, sir.
Is a university. Okay. Playing volleyball, then following women and under 19 men's cricket. Why peculiarly under 19 men's cricket?
Sir, if you look at the recent past, like the way the under 19 cricket, men's cricket has evolved, like winning 5 World Cups, and the way they are playing and they are representing India at the very early age. If you look at Rishabh Pant, right at 17 years he has debuted for India, so that drove my interest towards the sports.
Who is presently the captain of under 19 women team?
Sir, recently Yash Dul was the captain, which won the
No, women.
under 19. Sir.
Yeah.
Sir, actually, I'm not sure about that one. Sir.
Okay. Now tell me,
Yes, sir.
when we refused signing RCEP,
Yes, sir.
the major danger was that this being felt that New Zealand and Australia, they will flood us with a lot of good dairy products.
Yes, sir.
Now it is already 2 years since then.
Yes, sir.
Do you find that our dairy industry has been benefited by not signing the contract, that agreement?
Sir, probably we are in that direction in order to ensure our dairy products are exported to various countries, be it recent free trade agreements we have signed with UAE and others. So, but as far as RCEP is concerned, probably we have to also scale up our sanitary and phytosanitary measures, which are major blockade in our exports to developed nations or the West European nations.
No, I never meant that.
Yes, sir.
I'm not interested in exports.
Yes, sir.
Because you might be knowing that in dairy products,
Yes, sir.
most of the production is consumed within the country.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
More than 90%.
Yes, sir.
So why were people scared that if the Australian and New Zealand products come in the country,
Yes, sir.
they will be left behind?
Yes, sir.
Were they scared of the competition or the quality? What? And what has been ultimately then effort by the government in last 2 years to take care of those deficiencies because of which we never signed the agreement?
Yes. Sir, as far as the products from Australia and New Zealand are concerned, they are more innovative, and there was a certain fear factor that these products might flood our domestic dairy market, and which might indirectly hamper our farmers. And as far as the government's initiatives are concerned, in recent past, we have the bovine mission, like where we are actually working on our indigenous cattle, and also government.
No, I was not interested in that. I was just talking about in terms of the competition.
Yes, sir.
These policies are all right.
Yes, sir.
But when we talk about the competition,
Yes, sir.
and whether that competition would have resulted in a better situation for our farmers or not?
Sir, probably I think I need to read about this even better.
Okay, thank you.
From technical background to a journalist, you see, dream, a civil servant. What brings you here actually at this stage?
Sir, right from my childhood, I've seen my father wear uniform, so that drove my inclination towards uniform-based services. And right after graduation, I did try job in
Army uniform is also very good.
Yes, sir. I did try there as well, sir. But unfortunately, I couldn't make to the academy. But so I'm trying for IPS this time.
Yeah. So, what are the dreams?
Sir, this thing is to work in a security-based profile, and uniform-based jobs would be better, sir.
Yeah. So, how you will contribute actually to the society?
Sir, I believe my personal traits is more dedication and courage, and so this actually matches the organization's demand of Indian police services, which require people with more dedication and courage. So I think this will
Yeah. What you will be doing there? What will be your functions?
my main function would be to maintain the law and order, security, which is precursor to development. So I will work in
What development?
security is precursor to development.
Yeah.
So I'll ensure that I maintain the law and order and security in this country.
That's okay. Then what else?
Sir, I'll also strengthen the social capital within the institution of police service. Sir.
Yeah. Anything else comes to your mind?
Sir, probably work on the human capital part of the institution.
You see, a general complaint against the police is about the not registering the FIR. The environment is not very, you see, friendly when people approach. And there is a complaint that there is a corruption. So, what is your view on that?
Sir, probably these exist this used to exist in the past, but even now with the introduction of e-governance and like online-based complaints system, we are probably moving in a much better direction with less corruption and less with more empathetic angle in the institute.
What changes actually you would like to recommend?
Yes, sir. First thing is like train the lower level staff with human right on based like on human rights issues, and also let them I'd like to monitor how the institutions are working, and I also place a grievance redressal system for the ordinary people so that they can approach us with whatever issues.
What about the quality of work, quality of investigation, quality of charge sheets? Conviction rate is very poor. What about that? How
So-
you will change that?
So probably conduct more workshops with acquaint them with technology part, and also conduct more workshop in order so that they.
But people don't read actually. Once you get into the service, you will stop reading acts, laws.
Sir, also as far as the conviction rate is concerned, probably our criminal justice law systems should actually reform so that our investigations are fast tracked and conviction rates also improve.
Okay, but tell me, political science is your optional.
Yes.
What is our policy now? What is government of India's policy now? Foreign policy.
Sir, our policy is following the age-old Indian tradition of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, where India is seen as leading and taking nations.
That is a very idealist actually. Nobody believes in that.
Yes.
What is the policy?
So right now, the welfare of the citizens is the priority of the government, be it with like getting the technologies into the nation, or be it close collaboration with like-minded nations, so that we promote our like citizens' interest at the same time that also ensure that the same thing doesn't hamper any other nation's interest.
It's again very vague actually. I am not.
So he is asking about
Yes,
current foreign policy being practiced and implemented by government. That you have to answer.
Yes, sir. I think the present policy is actually looking in a more holistic way in order to collaborate nations for the welfare of different arenas like technology, environment, and etc.
Holistic. In what sense it is holistic?
Holistic, where multiple stakeholders like the private industries or the common people, or for poverty related issues or the health related issues, India is trying to attain get better at those parameters.
But it doesn't lead actually to anywhere. When it comes to the issues related to China, neighbors, you see European nations, then the Russia, Ukraine war.
So definitely, the foreign policy is not a static one, but with respect to time and demand, our policies also change in that direction.
Which path we are following actually?
I think realist paths.
But we are with actually which I mean we are aligning with whom? Do we have any friends actually?
Sir, we are aligning with issue-based alignment. So we are actually following issue-based alignment.
Okay.
Shravan, watching cricket, following cricket, not playing cricket. But why does cricket draw larger funds than hockey?
Ma'am, primarily the reason lies in the history, the way the board BCCI has taken the initiatives, or the way it has promoted the sport at larger level. has actually drove the and also we have some of the great players, like we have players emerging right from the street level to the national level, and the infrastructure that is present for cricket.
Why not the same for hockey? Hockey used to be our pride at one point of time.
And probably we were not that well marketed, and also infrastructure is equally important for hockey, which we don't find commonly.
Okay. Now you've been working in Jharsuguda. You've actually visited Jharsuguda.
I stayed there for 4 months.
4 months you stayed there. Okay. What exactly was your work there?
Ma'am, I had to monitor the SCADA systems, which were actually associated with the aluminium smelters, and also I had to oversee the maintenance work that was outsourced to Siemens company.
Okay. But you were there only for a very short duration.
Yes, ma'am.
What made you move out?
Ma'am, actually, I wanted to move in the direction of getting a uniform based services, so I had tried for defense services after leaving that.
So that is why all the armed police forces and defense services exams, yeah?
Yes, ma'am.
4 attempts.
Yes.
Okay. And now for the IPS, that's what your aim is. You want to move from a corporate job to a uniform job or a government job, despite the perception, or I would say more than perception, of corruption, large scale corruption. Why do you want to knowingly go into something which is infested with corruption?
Ma'am, having seen the system, I believe I would be the right person to stay in the system and ensure that the system gets better day by day.
How? That's a very tall order you put on your shoulders.
Yes, ma'am, I think like the institution itself is like a chain where every link is equally important. I want to be that strong link which ensures the system remains resilient.
No, again, sorry, madam, sorry. No, you please be specific in answering the question, and that will make the quality of answers better.
Yes.
Otherwise, the question answers are going vague.
Okay.
And slightly be specific. You will learn more than by then.
So, if you think you will be that strong link, 1 to 3 points, the qualities which you have.
My qualities, ma'am.
Yeah, your qualities which will make you kind of resist.
My first is I would say my commitment towards the work that I am doing. Second is the courage that I would carry, the conviction that I would carry while functioning. And third is the like emotional intelligence that I would show that.
How would you resist corruption? You'll never be part of the system if you don't follow the rules of the system. So, how will you make a difference from outside? You'll never be part of the system. Have you given it a careful thought?
I should probably think more.
Think more about it. Okay, fine. Now, you come from Karnataka.
Yes, ma'am.
Recently, there was a hijab controversy.
Yes.
What exactly was that? Has it been resolved?
Ma'am, actually, legally, like, to partial extent, the issue has been solved in the High Court, but actually, the issue is currently in Supreme Court. So the issue has not been solved.
What is the issue?
Issue is with respect to the administration, which is aiming at ensuring the like a unity in uniform to all candidates, irrespective of their religion, and not carrying the.
What exactly is the hijab controversy? The word hijab itself says a lot.
Yes, ma'am. Actually, Muslim women candidates were wearing hijab into the classrooms, and the administration wanted them not to come in hijab and ensure that everyone wears the same uniform.
Was it earlier part of the school uniform, or was it a recent thing?
Ma'am, actually, the rule was already there, but that was not strictly followed. But however, in recent while, the rule has been enforced strictly.
But pardon my saying that the Sardars wear their turbans. So why this?
Ma'am, my stand is actually they should allow hijab in the classroom, because that will
In the classroom or within the school premises?
in the classroom within school premises. I have no issues, ma'am.
You have
That
no.
will that.
So if you have to deal with this controversy, how will you resolve it?
Ma'am, probably more dialogues among all the possible stakeholders, be it with the parents and students or the teachers, the management, that would ensure that we solve the issue.
Okay, You are an electrical electronics engineer. What do you say on the phone tapping? Is it justified?
Ma'am, as far as if it ensures that our nation's security is strengthened, then probably it is justified on that ground. But other than that, for any other vested interest, then it is not.
You remember the Pegasus controversy?
Yes, ma'am.
What was it?
Ma'am, that was actually spyware which was used on prominent people, which was alleged to be used on prominent people in order to gather critical information from them.
Which company was that?
NSO, ma'am, Israel firm, and now with USA.
Okay, thank you.
How do you pronounce your name?
So P. Sravan Kumar.
Sravan.
Sravan.
Sravan. Sravan.
Sravan.
Sravan. What is this Merit Prime Minister Scholarship Program? What is it about?
Sir, it is about providing scholarships to the wards and the widows of paramilitary forces who are serving, so that they can they can pursue higher education.
Okay, this is for it's a kind of financial aid.
Yes.
To carry on with your higher studies.
Yes.
Okay. The Prime Minister's Man Ki Baat. When was it broadcast last?
Sir, it is broadcasted in the last week of every month. Sir.
No, this month. When was it done?
Sir, I'm not sure about this month.
No?
I think it is yet to be broadcast.
And you said what? Last what?
Sir, like last week in every month, this program is aired. Sir.
And on which day?
Day, I'm not sure about.
Oh, you are ignoring Prime Minister so much?
No, sir, I do follow the programs.
Your subject, I mean, one of your basic subjects has been maths, right?
Yes.
The PM spoke to the country
Yes.
and maybe audience outside yesterday.
Yes.
And it is on a Sunday, last Sunday. Yeah.
Yes.
So he spoke yesterday, and he talked a lot about mathematics. And your state, Shakuntala Devi, is from there, from Karnataka.
Sir,
Shakuntala Devi.
I'm not sure about that.
You heard of Shakuntala Devi?
I have heard, sir.
Who is he or she?
So she's a famous mathematician. I'm not sure about her work exactly, sir. So.
Okay. And she is known for what?
Sir, probably I'm not sure about this one.
Oh my God. Oh my God. There was a movie recently made on her.
Yes, sir.
Yeah? Who acted as Shakuntala Devi?
Sir, Vidya Balan.
Again from Karnataka.
She's from Kerala, I think, sir, settled in Mumbai. Vidya Balan.
From Kerala?
Yes.
Okay. Just one second. The Prime Minister also referred to a possibility of making digital payments without using a smartphone. Is it possible?
Yes, sir. RBI has released an app recently in this direction, where the app is pre-installed in that mobile, and we can have that through that phones we can actually use without being online.
And there was yet another story in the news that it can be used without an internet.
Sir, without internet it is possible, but I'm not sure about which initiative.
It's possible.
Yes, sir, without internet it is possible.
How would it be possible? I'm not too sure. Could you explain, please?
Sir, we actually have these sir, probably this thing I have read that it is possible to make payments without internet, but I'm not sure about how exactly that works.
Mm-hmm. My last question to you. The Home Minister said a day before that the police force should rely more on digital forensics, etc., and not on third degree methods. So what do you say to that?
Sir, I would agree to that fact. We have to liberty forms a prime factor for any individual, and we should ensure that that is not harm, that does not degrade someone's dignity of life. So we should avoid such methods.
No, but in a country like India, I mean, where probably hardened criminals are much more, mostly illiterate, probably mostly from the very poor background. So, would not using force really work? Is it feasible?
Sir, I believe in reformative justice, sir. Everyone can be made. It is probably the background also, historical factors and background.
Is it possible in India to practice it?
Yes, sir, it is possible in India.
Okay. Thank you.
Sravan, your subject was international relations, political science. So, what is the concept of realism in international relations?
Sir, realism is looking things as they are and not bringing in any ideal factors. Like realism majorly focuses on balance of power, treating others. No one is permanent friend or foe in that person.
What is the premise, basic premise behind realism?
Is to pursue national interest at any cost.
Isn't it more about that the premise is the world is in anarchy, so the state should maximize its power?
Yes, sir, it must ensure that internally it increases its power, externally it balances out the threat possible.
Okay. And what are the two different kinds of realism?
The classical and there is a classical realism, and the other one is neorealism.
Exactly.
When we have classical realism, it's more subjective things, sir. In neorealism, it is more structural in nature, sir.
No, I'm not getting it. What does it like? Can you just give me an example of what is classical realism and what's new?
So, classical realism, one example is like a human is running the nation's interest, like the one who is holding the highest position. So since he is,
You can take it down if you're feeling uncomfortable. Yeah.
sir, so if he is like always power seeking in nature, so the classical realism also focuses on that direction, that even like human interest is power seeking, so national interest will also be power seeking. But whereas the neorealism actually considers the structure of international politics, which is anarchy. So anarchy will create a dilemma which forces the nations to go for power equation.
What defensive realism and offensive realism?
So defensive realism is security maximization, whereas the offensive one is power, like it is ensuring the security is mentioned the previous one, and the offensive one is going for unlimited amount of power.
So, how would you classify India and Russia according to this defensive and offensive realism? Where do they stand in their this diplomacy?
Looking at the recent Ukraine-Russia war, Russia is definitely towards that offensive realism, and if you look at Indian policy, it is more defensive in nature.
Are we somehow changing towards the offensive one, or like this defensive realism has long been a policy? Are we? Can you see any grains of moving towards the offensive realism recently?
There have been certain elements, be it with the surgical strikes or be it with the attacks and terror camps in Myanmar, like deep inside Myanmar. So we are like there are some elements of it as well.
Your father works with the CIS. What are central armed police forces?
So there are 7 central armed police forces. So do you want me to name?
Yeah, please. Yeah, go ahead.
So CRPF, BSF, CISF, ITBP, SSB, Assam Rifles, and National Security Guard.
And can you tell me what is the difference between the role that BSF plays vis-a-vis SSB and ITBP or Assam Rifles?
So BSF's role is majorly concerned with the international border with respect with Pakistan and Bangladesh, whereas SSB and ITBP are more concerned with Indian border with Nepal, Bhutan, and with respect to China's Tibet regions. And Assam Rifles, initially it was to stop the shifting cultivation. Now they are actually strengthening our northeast borders and internal security in the northeast as well.
Right. And then how are CRPF, CISF, and NSG different from these?
So CRPF is more concerned with internal security, primarily with respect to left-wing extremism, whereas CISF is mostly towards the providing security to the important installations of India, like industries, airports, and metro stations, whereas National Security Guard is more focused against, I would say, counter-terrorism.
Right. Recently, there was a controversy for last like almost 2-3 years, where a huge section of these CAPF officers, they were resisting the deputation of IPS officers. Since you've given IPS as your first choice, also you've been appearing for the CAPF assistant commandant exams. Do you think that the deputation of IPS officers should exist in the Central Armed Police Forces?
Sir, I believe it must be, but equally it should be based on merit, be it CAPF officer or IPS officer, whoever is heading the force or must have a practical ground experience on that level and also be acquainted with the technology and skill sets that are required for that.
So, say if you're selected as an IPS officer, what kind of skill sets would you bring to the CAPF if you come on deputation there?
Sir, first, like training for the, especially being ready for any danger that might happen. If I'm with CISF, probably I'll work more on providing safety and security, and also work on the. Yes,
That I know that is the work profile. But as an IPS officer who has worked in the district, what kind of skill sets would you bring to the organization that will join
Sir,
from the field experience?
organization is to ensure the social capital among the members. Sir. When the members or the people in the force are more closely aligned, then probably even the strategies that we frame or the work that we do is more effective in nature.
That was a little vague, but yeah, still, you were a volleyball player.
Yes.
You play which position do you play?
Sir, I play as a lifter. Sir.
As a lifter, as a setter? How many players are there in the volleyball team?
So one team, 6 members.
6 members. And how many positions are there?
Sir,
How many positions of players in the volleyball, on the volleyball court? How many positions are there?
Sir, actually 6 players, but actually there are 2 positions which are called by the same name. So it effectively comes down to 5.
5 positions, but there's another one. Liberos.
Libero is also.
Okay, so that makes it 6 or 7 again.
Yes.
And what is the role of a libero?
Libero's role is to play in the back end, like not in the front line, but at the back end, lifting. Like he mostly does, like he lifts the services that arrive at him, or plays only in the background and not in the 3 meters line, beyond the 3 meters line.
Can he enter the 10 feet arena? Can a libero enter the 10 feet arena?
Sir, he can enter, but as like while crossing the ball, he can't.
He can't. Okay, that's it. Thank you.
Please wait outside. Okay, call back.
Thank you. Thank you. May I come in?
आजा बेटा. Better. Sravan,
Yes, sir.
we appreciate the way you answer the questions,
Yes, sir.
and we also appreciate your knowledge on various topics.
Yes.
And how have you performed in your written examination?
Sir, written this last time I had missed the interview call by 1 mark, sir.
Mm.
So this time I am expecting it to be even better. Sir.
Better.
I've done many changes in my preparations.
What changes is there?
Sir, especially in optional, I saw the scores have been saturated primarily because the same content is being repeated. So, like for paper 2, everything I have changed, sir. I have referred to multiple sources. And
Have you studied Diplomat magazine?
sir, no, sir.
So what did you read which brought changes in your thinking process?
Sir, I've been to a series when I took one nations at a time or one institution at a time. I have gone through various articles written in a period of recent 1 year. I've taken some courses on Coursera as well about the institutions that are present.
Beta, let me now tell a few things to you which will improve your performance.
Sure.
Number one, when you start talking about international relations, you have a tendency to talk about nation to nation relations, which is not the correct way. It should always be impact analysis. So, impact, what does it mean?
How is the effect of the policies that we have?
No.
Yes.
Impact means, suppose Ukraine and Russia are having a fight.
Yes, sir.
Now, what effect?
Yes, sir.
What effect does now come on us?
Yes, sir.
Or what is happening to US? Whether US is really interested in defeating Russia or they are interested in defeating in China by this war.
Yes, sir.
That is impact analysis.
Yes, sir.
Understand? So you have to understand the impact analysis. Otherwise, your answers,
Yes, sir.
they tend to be very general in nature, very, very general, very theoretical. That this is foreign policy, this is, and you are slightly away from the reality.
Okay.
So what you have to do is, you have to bring reality in your answers.
Yes, sir.
They have become very theoretical.
Yes, sir.
And you remember that in a UPSC interview, we don't give any marks, good marks,
Yes.
to only theoretical answers.
Yes.
It should be your interpretation.
Sure.
The main thing is, it should be your interpretation, your understanding, in your own language.
Yes, sir.
You know, what we were observing was that your language was very, typical coached language.
Yes.
Same sentences we hear from different candidates.
Yes.
So again, the same thing will happen which you face in a written examination.
Yes, sir.
Similar answers will appear before the interview board,
Yes, sir.
and they will understand that you have crammed these answers.
Yes,
This you have to be very sure.
yes,
Secondly, before answering the questions,
yes,
you should listen to the question properly.
yes.
First, frame the answer in terms of a skeleton in your brain, and start speaking. So that the major points raised in the questions are answered. Otherwise, what is happening, that major issues in which the examiner is interested, they are neglected, they are sidelined.
Yes.
So it appears that whatsoever you remember,
Yes, sir.
so you catch hold of that particular word
Yes, sir.
and start speaking.
Sure.
Whereas you have knowledge,
Yes, sir.
you have huge knowledge,
Yes, sir.
but that knowledge gets subdued
Yes, sir.
in making the typical answers.
Yes, sir.
Here you should remember, my child,
Yes,
that it is not question answer session,
yes, sir.
it is conversation. And conversation will happen only when you are able to generate interest in others.
Yes, sir.
You know, how will you think that I will be interested in you? Tell me.
So probably when we are more engaged towards each other's discussion.
When we are engaged,
Yes, sir.
it means you are speaking something which I want to listen.
Yes, sir.
I want to listen to your original analysis. If that does not happen, then I'm off from your side. So you go on speaking.
Yes,
That's why I had to speak 2 times that he's asking this and she's asking that.
yes, sir.
It means you are going totally away from the questions.
Yes, sir.
That should be kept in mind.
Sure.
So what you need to do is now,
Yes.
take this Diplomat magazine.
Okay, sir.
January, February, March, April, 4 issues.
Yes, sir.
Freely available on internet.
Yes, sir.
You read all the articles relating to India.
Yes, sir.
All the articles. And make issues and 1 A4 size paper, 1 issue.
Yes, sir.
And write the answer in your own language. Forget about what you have studied. Right?
Yes,
So you take India related issues,
yes.
1 issue on 1 page,
Yes.
and then write your own answer in your own language. Remember, I'm emphasizing again and again your
Yes,
own language, own answers. It's very, very important.
Yes, sir.
And secondly,
Yes.
because you have taken PSIR as the optional,
Yes.
you should have thorough knowledge of fundamentals of international relations.
Yes, sir.
Fundamental. I'm not talking about the one-to-one or multilateral.
Yes.
Those relationships I'm not talking about.
Yes, sir.
Like Finlandism, is a very recently used word again and again. What is that?
Finlandization.
What is happening? I'm not asking answer.
Yes, sir.
All these things which are being used currently,
Yes, sir.
those have to be studied thoroughly.
Yes, sir.
And then you should be very sure that what is our role?
Yes.
What is our role vis-a-vis the neighborhood,
Okay, sir.
including the extended neighborhood?
Yes, sir.
Where are we losing? And when you are talking about our relationship with different countries,
Yes, sir.
you should be sure that economically, are we really doing something better than them? Or after Sri Lanka, Pakistan, Nepal, we are also moving in the same direction. This analysis has to be done.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay. Then when we talk about RCP or any of those type of agreement, RCP is one example only,
Yes, sir.
then you should be concerned about one thing.
Yes.
that whether that type of agreement
Yes.
is able to enhance our inherent capacity or not.
Yes, sir.
That is more important
Yes, sir.
rather than individual commodities.
Yes, sir.
What inherent capabilities can be enhanced?
Yes, sir.
Whether we are going to follow the principles of what LPG properly or not.
Yes.
At one time we say LPG we shall follow,
Yes, sir.
and then we are saying no, we should be close our economy.
Yes, sir.
Then we start saying that people will start dumping the goods in our country.
Yes.
No one can dump.
Yes.
Who brings those goods? Who
Yes.
brings those goods to us? Tell me.
Sir, into India, sir. Our own
Our own trading companies.
yes, sir.
Why do they bring?
Because there is a demand for that.
There is a demand.
Yes, sir.
So it is not very easy to say and just discard
Yes, sir.
it by saying that they will dump the goods.
Yes, sir.
The goods will be imported only when people will purchase.
Yes, sir.
You cannot just think, हमने dump कर दिया and people will purchase. It doesn't happen like that.
Yes.
You understand the
Yes,
mind?
sir.
So when you are analyzing such agreements, multilateral or bilateral, then you should be sure as to what is the basic objective.
Yes, sir.
At present, you are trying to connect the thing superficially.
Yes, sir.
You are not going to the depth.
Yes, sir.
When he asked about foreign policy.
Yes, sir.
Now, what is Indian foreign policy at present? Vasudhaiva Kutumbam is no policy.
Yes.
There is no foreign policy in it.
Yes.
We have chosen something different nowadays.
Yes, sir.
Last 6 months, it has shown that we are differently orienting our foreign policy.
Yes, sir.
Vasudhaiva Kutumbam is no policy basically.
Yes.
It's the original thing which failed miserably.
Yes, sir.
What are we doing presently? That should be answered.
Okay.
Rather than speaking only on this Vasudhaiva Kutumbam and all of this welfare of ours, welfare of this, it does not make any sense.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes.
Then I would suggest you,
Yes.
You have a very strong family background
Yes.
in a way to prove your suitability towards police service.
Yes.
Never overemphasize about honesty in police service.
Yes.
As IPS officer, you might be honest officer,
Yes, sir.
but your role in controlling the corruption in your department will be very limited.
Yes.
Because police department is basically run by SHOs, Anas.
Yes, sir.
And I've seen my personal friends who have been DG of police,
Yes, sir.
DGs of police. They all tell us that it's very difficult to control SHOs.
Yes, sir.
So while framing the answer, instead of speaking very general things,
Yes, sir.
you should have some specific plan in your mind. So I want to improve this particular segment first. Generally, kind of kuch nahi hota. Because then after 3 items, you were not able to count the 4th one.
Yes, sir.
She was asking you the question.
Yes, sir.
You did not have 4th alternative. So
Yes.
it means it is a very weak argument.
Yes, sir.
Instead of doing that,
Yes.
you choose an area.
Yes.
Suppose you choose police station.
Yes, sir.
Now, what will you do about it? How will the people feel convenient to come to the police station?
Yes.
Grievance redressal does not make any sense in improving the relationship between people and the police.
Yes.
The real thing is how investigation is done.
Yes.
Whether both the parties are harassed
Yes.
or both the parties are eased. That is the real thing.
Yes, sir.
The people should feel confident in going to the police station and lodging their complaints,
Yes, sir.
lodging the FIR.
Yes.
On top of it, I will suggest you,
Yes, sir.
well, when you are explaining this thing, you should speak one sentence, sir. I just want to be the person for the people,
Yes.
understanding and taking their problems as my own. That's why I want to come into the police. I've seen my family. I know
Yes.
that people should feel that they are coming to a person who is ready to help them,
Yes.
who is ready to listen to them.
Yes.
That is what will make you different
Yes.
in answering the questions. Otherwise, तो general typified answers हो रहे हैं सारे के सारे हमारे. तो अपने को जोड़ो. You connect yourself
Yes.
with problem solving in the police department,
Yes.
and through generating a very motivational force
Yes, sir.
to have easy entry of people in the police stations.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Then when you are so much willing
Yes.
to join police,
Yes.
then you should also make analysis that what happens after the post of SP.
Yes.
Suppose you don't become police commissioner. Police commissioner posts are very limited.
Yes.
What happens to IPS officers then?
Yes.
What do? What work is assigned to them?
Yes.
Then you should have thorough knowledge on collector-SP relationship.
Yes.
Again, not theoretical.
Yes.
Remember it.
Yes.
They should be ideal. They should coordinate with each other. ये सब ideal चीजें हैं.
Okay.
How do you think
Yes.
that what should be the typical relationship?
Yes.
Your thought process,
Yes.
which is very friendly,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Which encourages law and order situations to be subdued at the origination.
Yes.
That's the basic thing.
Yes.
And if suppose someone asks you,
Yes.
what are the core functions of SP, what will you say?
Sir, can
What
you,
are the core functions of SP?
yes, sir. Is to ensure law and order in his jurisdiction, sir.
And
And
Prevention, detection,
in-
investigation. and
भाई मेन तो crime.
yes. Okay.
Crime तो भाई सबसे बड़ा काम है.
Yes, sir.
You cannot forget.
Yes.
You should, well, law and order is not the only thing.
Yes, sir.
So you should be very sure.
Sure.
And these are the places where SP plays most important role.
Yes, sir.
भले investigation SHO कर रहा है,
Yes.
but if you have developed a mechanism,
Yes.
that's what I was trying to
Yes.
emphasize,
Yes.
that you can monitor the investigations.
Yes.
That should be your objective.
Yes.
If you want to really become different,
Yes.
then how the investigation happening in your police thanas under your jurisdiction,
Yes.
that should be the real thing. That will connect you with people
Yes. Sir.
more than anything else,
Yes. Sir.
right? As you are saying, that all these four wings of police, that's very important. Law and order is something which happens not very frequently,
Yes. Sir.
but crime is day to day,
Yes. Sir.
day-to-day work of police,
Yes. Sir.
where SP plays the most important role,
Yes. Sir.
right? I remember one SP when I was probationer
Yes. Sir.
in one of the district.
Yes.
He himself used to go on foot
Yes.
in fields, etc.
Yes.
Follow up the criminals, investigating where the illicit liquor is being produced.
Yes. Sir.
And he even used to send me as a probationer to the police stations in the night. And then I really felt that what is police force? Then he made me realize, yeah, this is the police. Don't look at me as SP.
Yes. Sir.
You see these thanas. What is happening there?
Yes. Sir.
Understanding?
Yes.
Your approach has to be
Mm.
in this particular direction. Okay?
Yes.
Any question in your mind?
Sir, one. Sir, May 18th. Sir.
What do you?
Sir, one thing I wanted to add. Sir, I recently got selected in intelligence bureaus, sir, as ACIO. So, can I bring some aspects of intelligence as well in this?
If they ask.
In my
If they ask.
Okay, sir.
Don't try to impose.
Okay. No.
Because they मान के चलो, the people who are sitting here,
Yes, sir.
they have all covered almost 40 years
Yes, sir.
in the public service.
Yes, sir.
Right?
Yes, sir.
There's no advantage.
Yes.
Because you have yet not joined their
No,
service.
sir. Not yet.
So, as soon as they will start asking you deep questions, you will be stuck up.
Yes, sure.
So why should you give them chance?
Yes, sir.
The things which you have already prepared, you have experienced,
Yes, sir.
you have seen in your family,
Yes, sir.
in your society,
Yes, sir.
those things should be spoken.
Okay, sir.
Where you are speaking authentically.
Okay.
Don't commit such mistake.
Sure.
Anything else?
No, sir. Yes.
Okay. Thank you. All the very best.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Unacademy. Let's crack it.